Hang on. I'm over this. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Cool. We all good? Well, thank you. It's so exciting to be here and welcome. Today I'd like to talk about StageCraft. So, what is StageCraft? And why is it important in Star Wars? StageCraft, or the volume, has revolutionized our filmmaking process for Star Wars. The LED volume is a culmination of years of development and refined by Jon Favreau for our live-action Star Wars series. Like George Lucas, Jon Favreau is an innovative filmmaker who likes to push the boundaries of filmmaking. His breakthrough films like The Jungle Book and The Mandalorian made The Mandalorian possible. I'm sorry, Lion King made The Mandalorian possible. My name is Chiang. I've been a film designer for over 40 years, and I've been designing Star Wars for over 27 years. I've been very fortunate to work with some of the most creative and innovative filmmakers today. Filmmakers who are not afraid to push the boundaries of filmmaking and take bold risks. Directors like George Lucas, Robert Zemeckis, and now Jon Favreau. Innovation is what excites me and gets me up in the morning. Today, I'd like to give you a sneak peek behind the curtain of our filmmaking process and leave you with what excites us about making our Star Wars live-action series using StageCraft. I also like to share a brief background and history of how and why we developed StageCraft. I will share how our art and design process has evolved because of the LED screen, and how we design our set, take advantage of its strengths, and how we work around its limitations. Filmmaking is historically about innovation. Francois Truffaut said that film is a combination of truth and spectacle. Spectacle is what drives innovation. For Star Wars, we're constantly striving to find new methods to streamline our process to create the spectacle that audiences expect. Among the first to do this was film pioneer George Méliès, who developed groundbreaking photographic techniques in his film A Trip to the Moon in 1902. Using a combination of photographic tricks paired with painted backdrops, he created spectacular imagery unlike anything that had been seen before. George Méliès is often considered the father of visual effects. He created spectacular visuals by combining theatrical paintings with simple in-camera photographic effects. He used simple tricks like double exposures to create elements that he added in with paintings instead of building large physical sets, just like the solution of the moon environment. In this photo, you can see the large canvas backdrop that he used to create the background. Here you can see more of his filmmaking process. The spaceship, for example, is mostly a 2D painting, painted to look three-dimensional. Interestingly, this is still a practice that we use today. For example, here is our Yavin hangar set from Rogue One, built on location in 2015. However, notice the X-Wings in the background. If you look closer, you may notice something unusual. And that's because the painting is on plywood. This is an old school trick that still works really well. Filmmaking has had a rich history of using a variety of low-tech techniques to achieve high-tech results. Alfred Hitchcock used scenic paintings to recreate locations in a soundstage. This is a scenic painting of Mount Rushmore for North by Northwest in 1959. It was hand-painted on a stretched canvas backing that was scenically painted in the studio. These paintings are actually quite large. They often cover a full stage wall. In this frame, you can see how the painted backdrop of Mount Rushmore completed the illusion of it being on location. The painting carefully matched the lighting and composition of the foreground set. With proper planning, the view outside the window seamlessly adds a great deal of production value, without the expense of building a big set of going on location. Here's a more regularly used technique involving hanging back paintings. In this scene from the 1963 film From Russia with Love, the grand ballroom looked like an elaborate set with a beautiful ornate ceiling. In reality, the grandeur of the ceiling was a painting. The glass painting is placed between the camera and the set. The painting of the ornate city lined up perfectly with the set in view through the camera's lens. In the final shot, you can see how the painting completes the illusion of grand ballroom. This technique works really well, but requires a lot of planning and time to set up. The artist had to complete the painting on site to match the lighting and composition of the set. Another more common technique was using matte paintings for the same effect. The starter strawberry from Empire Strikes Back is mostly a matte painting. The red section is the physical set. The ceiling and the window mullions are in the matte painting. The main difference between a matte painting and a hanging glass painting is that the matte paintings are completed months after filming has ended. This didn't require that the painting be completed on set. However, all the pre-planning is still necessary to make sure the live-action photography lines up with the painting. Here's the actual painting. Matte paintings are often painted on glass as well. In fact, they're actually painted on glass shower doors, because shower doors roughly have the right aspect ratio in a built-in frame. This is the actual set. It is a minimal build, just the window and the workstations below for the actors. All of these techniques involve static backgrounds created for specific camera angles with specific lighting. This limits where you can place the camera. And because the lighting is baked into the paintings have to match the lighting angle of the physical set for the illusion of the work. Almost 25 years later, before we invented the SID, we built a similar small set. However, to overcome the issue of static matte paintings, blue screen or green screens were used. The advantage of blue screen is that it allows us to replace the background with visual effects and animation. This is the most common technique that contemporary films today, and it has a lot of advantages. The content can be very elaborate and dynamic elements. Additionally, the camera can move and not be locked off as in traditional matte painting. The dots on the screens are traction dots to accurately recreate camera moves. The disadvantage is that during photography, the set doesn't exist. Actors can't see the set or the environment. Likewise, the cameraman has to guess what scene will be and compose the shots accordingly. This is the biggest drawback of using this technique. Without careful planning, the final result, created months after principal photography has ended, could feel false. The set, acting, and the camera work didn't tie well together. This is where StageCraft comes in. The volume's LED screen allows us to create realistic moving backgrounds in real time. Using game engine technology, the LED screen acts like a giant TV screen. The camera's movement is tracked with sensors, so the projected image lines up perfectly with the camera's perspective, no matter where the camera is. In fact, the camera can even be handheld. Follow the actors with the background matching perfectly. This gives us the flexibility of blue screen, but with real-time backgrounds. Another advantage of StageCraft is that it allows us to determine what parts of the set are necessary to build. The part that the actors don't interact with can exist virtually. In this photo, you can see that we only built a portion of the laser press spaceship for the actors to stand on. The rest of the ship in the background exists on the LED wall. This allows us to limit physical construction and save our construction costs. However, we still have to design and build everything in advance, whether it's virtual or physical. The volume was a breakthrough in the evolution of scenic tactics. It gave us the opportunity to achieve impressive sets without the cost of building an elaborate set. This is our design for our out-and-out first shot from season 3 of The Mandalorian. We wanted an elaborate droid repair shop in the bowels of the city with dozens of droids being repaired and built. This design had a lot of production value and would have required an expensive set build. In fact, this is the extent of our physical set for our out-and-out shop. It was a minimal set, mostly the floor, tables, and the lighting fixtures. And here's the complete set with the volume turned down. When you walk into our volume set, the illusion is so real that it's sometimes hard to tell what is virtual and what is visible. The volume allows us to achieve in-camera shots. This is important for 2 reasons. First, it allows the actors to see what they're supposed to see and react accordingly. Second, It allows the cinematographer to frame the shots and compose the scene without guessing. Because it's a real-time render, lights can be adjusted dynamically. In this scene, we can adjust the sun to simulate different times of day. The virtual background can also be rotated as needed for better composition. But one of the coolest advantages of the LED screen is that we can bring distant locations into our sound stages. Meaning we don't have to take the entire crew out on location and deal with unpredictable weather and lighting. We bring the location to us instead of going on location. This doesn't mean that we don't go on location, we still do. Only instead of a full crew of hundreds, it's only a couple of people scan the real location so we can recreate it virtually. Additionally, since the screens completely surround ourselves, the characters are lit by the LED screen as if they were in the actual environment. The LED screen provides most of the lighting. The reflections are real and captured in camera. We can also control the time of day, meaning that we can have unlimited magic hour, a cinematographer's dream. We no longer have to chase the light anymore. Typically on location, we have about an hour to film sunset scenes, and this can be really challenging and involve multiple days of shoot just to get the scene. With the volume, we can film sunsets or dawn for as long as we want. Our sunsets can last all day. While StageCraft isn't right for all films, for our Star Wars live-action series, it was a game changer. By now, you may have noticed that many of our volume sets feature overcast skies, or staged at night or indoors. And that's because one of the major challenges was direct sunlight. Harsh bright light will contaminate the screen and wash them out. Additionally, trying to simulate bright sunlight in a sound stage always looks false. There's no practical way to mimic the brilliance of the sun indoors. To overcome this, we design our shots around this limitation. For example, we stage outdoor scenes by having a sunlit part of the set on the LED screen only. The physical set with the actors are in shadow. This is very effective and we can achieve the best of both, an indoor shoot with sunlight. This is our volume set for Phillips Hangers and Red Wing. And here's the final shot as seen in the video. This works with careful planning, but we have to be careful to not overuse it since we'll start to reveal our hand. Most of our scenes start to look similar. Additionally, in designing the StageCraft, we found that the volume works the best when the LED wall lines up approximately to the edge of our set. The result is that many of our sets being designed to be roughly the same size as the bottom. And unfortunately, our audiences have gotten too smart now and are starting to notice this. So we are constantly coming up with new tricks to keep the audience on balance, and guessing where the line between what is real and what is not. Using StageCraft for our shows, our goal is to never compromise with quality. We hold each of our shows to the same high standards as our theatrical films. Over 5 years and after 7 live-action series, we've learned to embrace these limitations. I found that the most creative work is done with huge choices and the most restrictions. Orson Welles once said, "The enemy of art is the absence of limitations." To do this, we've developed a workflow that streamlines our design process. Much of the work that is done typically in post-production is now done up front before physical photography. Decisions have to be made and made early. We have merged pre-production and post-production design in one series process. Digital sets are built in parallel with physical ones. Visual effects and setup have to be designed and finished in advance as well. In designing our series, time is always a limiting factor. Once the film date is set, the clock starts ticking. Typically, that's about 30 weeks out or several months. That may seem like a lot of time, but it's not. Especially if you consider that we're designing and building 3 feature films with sets, characters, and vehicles in about 2/3 of the time of our feature film. Here's how we do that. I can break down 5 sets from our series to share how StageCraft is finally creating our Star Wars universe. First up, this is a painting for our alternate for Obi-Wan Kenobi. We wanted to create an epic shot to feature the beauty of this planet. This landing platform design was inspired by the best landing platform from Empire Strikes Back. The similar form language of the landing platform gives design continuity to Star Wars. This scene on Empire Strikes Back is closely imitating on glass by Walking Forward. The black area is the live action set for the actor. And here's Buffalo Corey painting the matte painting on the black shower. The camera was locked off, so we only saw the scene from this angle. The soft diffuse light of this scene would have made this a perfect StageCraft set had the technology existed in 1983. So that's how we approach the design of any bucket scene. We deliberately designed it to be in the shadow of the building to mitigate bright sunlight. And as before, the sunlight part would be on the LED screen. This is the layout of our set. Her H-shaped wall is our LED screen. We only built the landing platform and the ship's ramp. The blue area represents areas that we can trace the radio effects afterwards. Here's the LED content, turn down the first side. And this is the LED wall. The ship was actually replaced and augmented for visual effects in post-production because the LED screen was too close to the actors and we wouldn't hold up any closer. In reality, this is all that we built for the ship for filming. Many of our three actors and a new wall from the ship's doorway. When our LED screen is really close to the actors, we often have to replace the content with visual effects afterwards because you can start to see the actual screen itself in the LED glass. Just like when you get too close to a TV phone, you start to see the images. Here's another angle of the same set. This is where the advantage of the StageCraft is at. Because the content on the LED screen exists as a full 3D environment, we can move the camera to get other angles of the same scene. It offers us opportunities to come up with new shots on the day. And here's the final shot. The foreground is our physical set with the actors. The ship was added in post-production with the visual effects, and the background is the bottom. For our aperture grading, I want to take advantage of the volume. Try something new. This is our concept painting of that set. This tapestry is located in the underwater filter zone, and I thought it was fun to turn this site into an inverted aquarium with huge windows and a skylight that looked out into the water. This scene was supposed to be emotionally tense, so the weight of the water outside adds a layer of visual tension. You feel uneasy standing in here. The set was designed to get the maximum visual impact with a minimal amount of physical disruption. Here's the concept painting that we designed looking back at the entrance. Once the design was approved, we broke down the design and figured out how much of the set should we build. Because the action is centered around the counter table and the entrance, that was all that we built. The floor, the table, and the entrance. Basically, only the essential pieces for the actors to interact with. The rest of the set existed virtually. And here's how volume turned out. The diameter of the room exactly matched the diameter of the volume set, and the seams in the ceiling actually lined up with the top window lines. This set was specifically designed to take advantage of the strength of the volume. Everything on the vertical content was rendered in real time, including fish outside the windows. Notice that the reflections are real and tiles for virtual content with the real set. We often design our sets to have shiny floors to take advantage of LED reflections. For Ahsoka, we designed this leather bridge with sand bridge. The design was inspired as if you were inside a giant cardboard package with all the intricate moving parts. This would have been a very expensive set to build. Traditionally, the realities of budgets often require us to design sets that are achievable as physical buildings. This can be limited creatively. However, with volume, we are allowed more freedom to design sets to have maximum visual impact while staying on budget. This is all that we built practically. Mostly the floor again, and a few seconds. The rest existed on LED ground. And here's the set that's seen in the scene. The hyperspace off the window was animated live and filmed in camera. For the city of Daiyu for Old Blood, we wanted to create a costume off-color live stream with a lot of production value. The challenge was how to achieve this without moving on location or building a huge city block-sized set. Our solution was to push the limitations of the volume to its maximum. This is the approved design of the street style. To maximize the most of the volume, we designed the street to be modular, so the virtual content can be configured to play at different speeds of image. The subdressing was also built to support this idea as well. We created a Lego kit of parts, both virtually and physically, and reconfigured them when necessary. Here's our volume set. If you look carefully, you can see where the seam of the floor is, where it meets the Wellington wall. Just here. The virtual city was fully interactive, with real-time visual bubbles walking the streets and vehicles driving by with animated scenes and lights. The production value that you gain on an LED set like this is incredible. Finally, I'd like to share one last example. For season 2 of The Mandalorian, we designed the Imperial Light Cruiser, a ship that was first seen in animation and now brought into our live-action series. The Light Cruiser is a small frigate class of Star Trek and was used as a launching platform for TIE fighters. It was our Star Wars version of a small aircraft carrier. The key design element is the launching between the two front props. The fighters are launched from here like a giant plasma dispenser. Here's the reverse view looking out as the TIE fighters launch. In the story, the Mandalorian hijacks the Imperial shuttle to infiltrate the shuttle, to infiltrate the West Cruiser. But since the shuttle is quite large, it didn't fit into the launch tube. So we had to vacuum the interior design of the launch tube enlarged to fit the shuttle. Originally, it was written that the shuttle would actually go into the hangar bit, but there was no way of it. So we decided to mount it outside of the large object. Aesthetically, it turned out to be more interesting. This is very typical of our design process. We first design for aesthetics, creatively setting the aspiration bar as high as you can. Then script parts altering demand to readjust the design to fit the story. As a result, we sometimes end up with a strong design. This is the cross section. You can see how it fit. In designing Star Wars, we always try to figure out the logic. Use the math to our sets to make sense. But even if the audience never sees it, it's the invisible homework that we do to make our designs believable and authentic. This is the painting of the shuttle platform. Here, Manuel and the team are seen running down the launch. Yeah, they're dining. And this is the hangar. It's quite complex, with TIE fighters hung on rails in the sea. To achieve this level, the set would have been huge. Story-wise, however, it was important to keep the scope and scale to communicate the purpose of the ship. The volume allowed us to not compromise on design. In fact, we could expand on it. Here's our whole virtual setup. It was an elaborate and extensive digital village. Star Wars often involves exotic locations like this hangar. And because so much of Star Wars doesn't exist, it has to be created. Our sets can be really too big to fit on each soundstage, even if we have the budget to build it. With the LED screen and StageCraft over, we can keep the scope and spectacle of Star Wars without compromising. Here's the final shot with the LED screen out and our foreground actors. This is Star Wars spectacle at its finest, and it's all in camera and live. For George Méliès and over 100 years of filmmaking innovation, we have now achieved live interactive backgrounds that Méliès only do in print. Thank you. Woo!